Hey, I'm Jesse. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, beginning in verse 22. Paul is like rolling his sleeves up and he's about to get in the sandbox with the foolish braggarts that are all talking about their credibility and talking about their pedigree and their qualifications. Paul's like you haven't seen nothing yet. I'm about to talk like one of these fools myself, and you're about to see how much more qualified I am than all of them. If you're going to listen to them on the basis of that, you should have listened to me on the basis of my pedigree. Here's 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 22. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the descendants of Abraham? So am I. Are they servants of Christ? I'm talking like a madman. I'm a better one, with far more labors, many more imprisonments, far worse beatings, many times near death. He's like, everything that you respect about these guys is true of me, but more so. He's acknowledging as well that these guys have not suffered for the gospel. I have. I've been beaten many times, near death. He's nearly been beaten to death for the cause of the gospel. That's a true testimony right there. People aren't tortured to the point of death for some, and then hold fast to that testimony for something that they know is a lie, that they know is a hoax, that they're just making up to get likes on their Facebook page. Like, he's been beaten numerous times to the point of death. Look, I'm talking like a madman, but I'm a better one. I like that. Far more labors. He's done more for Christ than any of these self-appointed super apostles has. Many more imprisonments. He points to his imprisonments for his credibility. He actually prides himself on the number of times he's been thrown in prison. If you remember in our study of the book of Acts, the initial persecutors of the church were actually Jewish authorities. Rome was quite okay with Christianity for a good while there. I mean, even Pilate's role in the crucifixion, he attempted to be passive. He literally physically washed his hands as a metaphorical gesture of trying to pass the issue on. It wouldn't be until later that Rome would start persecuting Christians as well. And it was considered like, look, if you've been imprisoned by Rome, evidently you're preaching the true gospel, because the gospel flew in the face of not only the Roman pantheon, like later on in the book of 1 Peter, you're going to see, Christians are persecuted in their because of their defiance of the Roman pantheon. They were misrepresented. They were painted as atheists, ironically, and then punished for this by Rome. In Paul's missionary journeys, you could see pagan worship was dismantled financially, because as people would repent from their worship of, say, Artemis in Ephesus, they would no longer purchase the idols, and they would no longer patron the temples of prostitutes. And so for this reason, they caused a huge economic disruption by the introduction of the gospel into the Roman world, and that was when Rome got mad when they started affecting things economically. And so Paul prides himself on the number of times that he's been imprisoned. If he's been imprisoned, we know that's because of Roman law. Far worse beatings, many times near death. And then in tomorrow's devotion, you're going to see this cataloging of some of the specifics of exactly how it is that he was beaten. Like, he doesn't pride himself on his lineage, his Hebrew heritage, his descendancy from Abraham. He's never brought any of that up. He doesn't usually get personal like this. But in tomorrow's devotion, beginning in verse 24, you're going to see that he's going to catalog the brutalities that he has endured. And he views all of these as trophies, all of these as testimonies, each of these as proof for his dedication to the cause of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And his detractors have never been through a fraction of what he's been through. Isn't that a unique way to view your sufferings? They're all stories. My family loves the movie Jaws. I think it's because we grew up near the ocean and we were always afraid of sharks, and so we're fascinated with them. There's this scene in Jaws where these two characters that have been feuding with each other the entire movie start comparing scars and telling the stories behind the scars. There's something about your scars that proves you're legitimate. You've been tested and you passed that test, and you endured and you came out the other side, and you're now stronger than you were before. Your scars have stories to them. A lot of us today wear scars in our minds and our hearts. If they are visited upon us because of our Christian testimonies, then these further legitimize our faith in Jesus. And they're honors because we shared in the sufferings of Christ. Paul is about to brag on his own sufferings, and he's about to bring them all up as testimonies, as proof. Look, my love for you, my gospel testimony has cost me everything. It has afforded me beatings near the point of death numerous times. What have these guys endured? What does it cost them? If it costs them nothing, I don't trust it. You want to know what the gospel has afforded me in terms of its sufferings? You're about to find out. I think that's a bad to the bone way to point to your own Christian fruit. Look, I've been imprisoned way more than any of these guys because of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I think that kind of toughness also points to a steadfast faith that would fly in the face of the number one reason people give for leaving their Christian faith behind. Rather than letting your sufferings that you face be the reasons that you leave the gospel behind, let them become trophies in your case and say, I endured that, and my faith endured that. My love for Christ got me through that, just like Paul does with his own sufferings. That is cool. Turn your sufferings into trophies that point to the credibility and legitimacy of your faith in Jesus Christ.